Alright, there we go. Looks like everything's working. I'm going to go ahead and pause that. For you YouTube folks, I'm going to wait just a second here. I'm starting a minute or two earlier than I said I was going to start on Twitter and Facebook and whatnot. So I'm going to give a chance for people to get in here before going into my deck tech proper. So, hello, for anyone who doesn't know me, my name's Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University, and although we're normally streaming D&T, today we're doing something a little bit different. Hello, hello, welcome. Today we're going to be streaming what we call, like, Dragon Stompy by the old name, or Blood Moon Stompy, or Red Prison, whatever you would like to call it. I'm rather partial to the name Red Prison personally, although this is kind of one of those decks where even though you call it by a bunch of different names, everyone knows exactly what you mean. D&T is in a very interesting place right now. There is a lot of sort of discussion about D&T currently. Mark Koenig, Bahra, has been working on a very interesting build that, well, let me just show you a previous version of it. Essentially, it's D&T that cuts the Stoneforge Mystic package to just play more creatures instead. And there's been a lot of exploration on his channel recently about like how good is Hallowed Spirit Keeper? How much can we break Hallowed Spirit Keeper? If you're not following Mark Koenig's channel, and it's Bahra, BAHRA _, I highly recommend that. It's been very interesting to watch. There's been a lot of exploration there. I have some ideas of my own. I got a really good good suggestion from a viewer and fan a day or so ago that I want to try out. It's super cute, but I want to do that live because it'll be way more fun than just talking about it. All right, so let's go ahead and go into the deck tech proper now. So essentially, this deck is not playing the 1 and 2 drops that are, you know, staples of Legacy, and instead it opts to accelerate its game plan with Ancient Tomb, City of Traders, and Chrome Mox in order to just play more, well, I shouldn't say more, I should say all of the 3 and 4 drops that you desire. So there's a couple of interesting things going on here. In addition to just locking your opponent out of the game with either Blood Moon or Blood Sun, so their lands can't actually produce mana that matters to them. And you can also just lock out a lot of decks with an Ensnaring Bridge. This is a card that's awkward sometimes. Like when you play your own Trinosphere and you can't deploy like your Chalice of the Void, your Chrome Moxen quickly enough to get them out of your hand. But when Bridge is good, it is devastatingly good. It's often better to play Bridge alongside Hazoret for just that reason, but we're going to get a little bit greedy today. Phil, you had me at Chalice and Parents. Parents are really good. So for anyone not familiar with Pia and Kiran Nalaar, because it's not like one of the most played Legacy staples, it enters the battlefield and you get 2 Thopters, and you can sacrifice an artifact to deal 2 damage to target creature or player. So it gums up the board by producing 3 bodies. It's a great chump blocker. It's a great way to buy time. It's also a really good way to like get rid of a bridge if you need to get rid of one, or like just huck extra Chalice and Moxen at people's face for additional game-ending damage. I have not seen any Red Prison lists with Bomat Courier, no. That's a 1-drop, right? So it plays poorly with Chalice. So I love Chandra, Torch of Defiance. This is a card I've played with a lot, and it is just insane. We have a pseudo 5th copy in the form of Chandra Pyromaster, and it's still really good. The nice thing is with the new like Legend/Planeswalker rule, you can have both of these in play at the same time, which is nutty. I think the only change I made for CTAC was another mountain in place of a PNK. Is the 20th land better than PNK number 2? That's a good question. Like, I could see that. What was the human tap and disenchant creature you were playing the other day? That was Devout Chaplain. It was really, really, really good at this human shell that we played. I was very, very pleased with that card. If I play anything like this humans deck again, I'll run that again. I was having real issues hitting red after I made the switch to Fallout over K-Return. Ooh, okay, yeah, I can see that. Does require red. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 15 red sources, 16 versus 15. I'm gonna think about that for a minute. I'm gonna finish talking about the sideboard, and then I'll make a final call on that. Like with all these red cards in the sideboard, that actually makes a lot of sense. So let's talk about the sideboard. Most of the cards that are here have like splash utility in a lot of matchups, and they're very general cards, right? So like Fairy will muck with any graveyard based deck pretty well. Spyglasses for things like Planeswalkers, although it's such a broad card, you know, it can shut off equipment, it can shut off, you know, lands in like the lands matchup, like it shut off a Thespian stage or something like that. So this can do a lot of work. Abrade deals with creatures and artifacts. Sulfur Elemental makes D&T cry because that matchup is very, very, very difficult. And Scab Clan Berserker is really insane against combo. Like, I know this card doesn't look like it should be insane, but like I've played this card in Vintage, and it is the Nutter Butters. So it's haste and renown. So that means when it deals combat damage, you put a +1/+1 counter on it, and then it gets an ability. So whenever your opponent casts a non-creature spell, if it's renowned, it deals 2 damage to that player. So essentially, this is kind of like an Eidolon of the Great Revel with haste in this deck, and that's very powerful. I'm going to go ahead and chop 1 P and K for another mountain here. Technically, it should be another snow-covered mountain, but I borrowed most of this deck from Card Hoarder ahead of time, so I did not get extra snow-covered mountains for just this scenario. Scab Clan feels pretty good versus decks like Miracles too, to be honest. Yeah. Like, if it's a deck that has to go and cast a lot of non-creature spells and doesn't have a board presence, Scab Clan Berserker is going to be really, really good. Obviously much better on the play, but still quite good. So I kind of want to thank two people tonight for this stream. You know, number one, I want to thank Card Hoarder for letting me borrow some of these cards. Number two, I want to thank Piroko, what is it, 139, for both a donation and letting me borrow a couple of cards to finish this out. My Card Hoarder loan account is $300, and this is a little more than $300. So he let me a playset of City of Traders, Chalice of the Void, and Snaring Bridge to finish out this deck. Hey Phil, what's the skill disparity between you and a professional Hall of Famer Magic player like? What do they do better? That's a really good question. So I would say they play formats other than Legacy, and that's what makes them better. Like, I am a player with a very narrow skill set. Like, I am a very, 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 very good Legacy player. I'm very knowledgeable. However, I don't do anything other than Legacy. Like, my draft skills are very weak outside of Cube, for example. And my knowledge of, like, how to build a standard deck is 0. I could not even tell you what, like, sets are legal in standard right now. You know, if I'm sitting down against a Hall of Famer and I'm playing Legacy against them, like, I don't care. I won't flinch at all. I might be better than them at Legacy. But anyone who is like a Hall of Famer or like a real pro has a wider skill set than me. That's the big difference. Something nice list. I can't take credit for this list. This is Piroko's list, but I do think it's very good. I felt like this was very well balanced. I'm happy with this list. This is the first time that I'm getting to try Blood Sun. In paper, I own Magus of the Moon instead, so that's what I've been playing in paper when I play that. So, Blood Sun has the random upside of being better. Like, let's say you dropped a Blood Sun on the play, and your opponent just has a handful of fetch lands. Those make 0 mana, instead of with Magus of the Moon, where they make a red mana, and that can matter a lot. Yeah, I don't do thing a lot. That was a good question. I don't get asked things like that a lot, but it's something to think about. Like, if I were to go and play in, say, a Modern Open, I would bet on literally every other Hall of Fame player over myself in that event, just because, like, I haven't played Modern in the past year. That's not something I have to do. And their just wider skill set would make them much better equipped to just play in a random event and do well. All right, I don't have too much else to say about this deck. This is a deck that I've really liked for the past year. I think I started playing this deck after Latin Academy last year. So I have some experience playing the deck. I haven't played as much in paper recently. I've been playing just so much more Moto. So I might be a little rusty at this deck and make some mistakes, but you know, that's to be expected. I never thought about that, but do you want to be addressed as Phil or Medea on stream, or something else? I usually just go by Phil when I'm streaming. So for anyone not familiar, years and years ago, I was trying to make an MTG Salvation account, and like every combination of the common names that I was using for my usernames was just taken. So finally I got fed up with it, and I looked at my desk, and like I was reading the story of Medea. I'm like, all right, fine, my name's Medea now. And I just threw that in as my MTG Salvation username, and then I ported that over to the source. So there are a whole bunch of people who randomly know me as Medea, a sorceress from Colchis, from Greek mythology, famous for helping Jason complete the quest to get the Golden Fleece, as well as later murdering her own children. Great story, highly recommended if you've never read it before. At Death and Taxes. I was really hoping you were just a Tyler Perry fan. You have no idea how often I get that. That is Madea. I believe that is M-A-D-E-A, whereas the woman from classical mythology is M-E-D-E-A. Slight difference. Not the first time that awkward bit of confusion has come up. Which translation do I recommend? Hold on. All right. The one that I had most recently was the Oxford World Classics one. It's cheap. It's like $7 or something like that. The translation was by James Morwood. That was fine to the best of my memory. But most of the translations that you would get at like your Borders or Barnes and Nobles that are done by like someone like Penguin Classics or something like that, and any one of those like series of books that have like a whole bunch of like classics in them, most of those translations are going to be pretty good. I've got another copy of Medea somewhere on that bookshelf that I also like, in addition to the Greek one, but I can't find it right now, so I'm not going to spend too much time looking. Chair goes 5-0 by virtue of first turn Chalice, Blood Moon. If we play Storm 5 times, the chair might be able to 5-0. I have faith in the chair. The chair can do work. Alright. We're gonna moon people. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Hoping tonight's stream goes kinda quickly. I have a lot to do. That's kinda why I wanted to go and play Red Prison tonight. Hopefully I will be able to tell you about that soon. I am in process of doing something pretty cool. It's going to take some time for me to finish that and get all the details worked out, but if it works out, I will be very happy to share that with you. You seem really passionate about classics. Do you ever miss school and think about going back? I do miss the environment of highly educated, passionate people. I really, really do miss that. Like, just being able to sit down and just, like, BS about philosophy and mythology and things like that with a whole bunch of people who really care about that. It's super, super fun. But I did not particularly enjoy grad school for a number of reasons. I had a program that I didn't particularly enjoy very much, and I got kind of burnt out. Hey, it's Lewis CBR, so we're probably playing against Delver. And we're going to turn 1 Chalice him, turn 2 Blood Moon / Blood Sun him with another one the following turn. That's a keeperino. I did not say you're not highly educated. I'm sure there are, like, plenty of engineers and random doctors and physicists in stream. I think I'm gonna go ahead and print the Blood Sun. We have like a couple tries at that effect. Although it's possible that imprinting the Blood Moon there would have been better if my opponent is not on Delver and is like miracles like chat suggests. Yeah, I enjoyed some aspects about grad school immensely, but there were certain aspects that were not enjoyable. See if our opponent has another Daze or Force. They do. That's okay. We will keep throwing really, really annoying spells at them until 1 or 2 of them sticks, and then I'll drop a P and K. Feels like Spell Pierce. So we're going to play a Chalice this turn. Bolt me. You bet. Alright, Chalice just stuck. Good evening, Phil. How's it going tonight? We are currently in our first match. We are against Lewis CBR on Grixis Delver. We have a resolved Chalice on 1. Things are going okay. We'll see if they're going Gurmag Angler now, though. Feels kind of like they're going Gurmag Angler. Mismatched basics are a bad sign. I think you're losing this one. No, that's intentional. It's half snow-covered, half regular mountains to play around predict targeting me. Ugh, there's the bridge. Do I just slam? I probably just slam bridge now while they have one card. It's literal no answer to that. And then they have to, like, 8-turn me with the Deathrite Shaman. Well, probably more than that, honestly. Never didn't have it. Alright, Lewis CBR doing the typical Lewis CBR thing. Scoops it up very quickly. Alright, so essentially I want more removal in this matchup. I want my Abrades and I want my Volcanic Fallouts. Scab Clan Berserker I kind of like on the play, but not on the draw. Ripping so hard you could play Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't see any white mana. Is everything fine? We're angry tonight. We're just seeing red over here. Alright, so what don't I like against Delver? I mean, honestly, I like most of the cards in this deck against Delver, if I'm being just, like, 100% completely honest. Like, that's why you play this deck, is you're good against Delver. If I recall, my plan was cut Rabbles in place of Fallout and Abrade since they leave in all the removal. Okay. I buy that. Rabbles is, like, one of my favorite cards in the deck, but I agree with that. This is, I think, similar to how I boarded. I think I had a couple more, like, random Trinisphere-type cards when I was playing. So I think I went, like, 2 Trinisphere 2 Rabbles out for these. But Trinisphere is really, really good against them. Like, even on the draw, it's just nuts. Shutting off, like, Force and Daze and making your other stuff stick is important. Sorcerer's Spyglass on EE. That would be something. Alright, this hand does nothing. We're gonna mulligan this one. This is a keep, but what we do with it might change drastically. Ancient Tomb. Do I want that? I kind of want that in case my first Ancient Tomb gets wasted, because I can go land, imprint, Confluence, Ancient Tomb, Trinisphere, follow up with Chandra. I'm going to go ahead and put this on top. This hot Trinisphere action. Every time I play this deck, I always have this, like, giant fear of, like, oh god, please don't counter my Chrome Box. But they never counter the Chrome Box. Oh! Chicken Bacon Ranch, I almost forgot. Yes, this is our feature match versus Mr. Chicken Bacon Ranch himself. The man, the sandwich, the legend himself, yes. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. That's rough. Guess we'll just pass this turn. We'll try something next turn. Yeah, so Nicholas Lewis CBR is one of the trophy leaders, and how he does that is he plays so many games just by conceding very, very, very quickly and dropping quite quickly as well. So that is I have nothing now. That is very much an intentional strategy on his end, not to maximize EV necessarily, but to maximize number of trophies. He wrote a big post on Reddit about that a while back. Alright, so I'm going to abrade one of his two primary creatures this turn. I just don't know which one. The Pyromancer represents a lot of damage long-term, much more so than the Shaman, so I think I'm going to get rid of the Pyromancer. But if I were to top deck like a Blood Moon, then the getting rid of the Deathrite Shaman would be better. Just kind of sucks that I have to take life in order to do this. Blood Moon is great since there's no lands in the graveyard. He says as I get wastelanded putting 2 lands in the graveyard. Alright. Owie. Update lands in graveyard. So, like, the bad thing is, I can't actually cast most of my spells if this Blood Moon resolves, and my opponent is presumably going to flip the Delver and just, like, be attacking me for 5 a turn. So, like, this Blood Moon isn't even the best now. So there's that. Ah, flipping the Lightning Bolt. Oh, jeez. So when we lose this game, will CBR say something witty in chat like, "Your order is served. Here's your chicken bacon ranch, sir." Let's run that back again. The Ancient Grudge was brutal. Alright, this is a tricky hand, chat. This has a removal spell that I can play on turn 2. This has 2 sweepers and a Blood Sun. If I draw a Soul Land, this hand is really, really good, but otherwise this is probably just too slow, and I probably just, like, get Delvered relatively easily. I think this one goes back. I'm going to think about this for a second, but I think I can do more powerful things on the play than this, even on 1 fewer card. Like, it has good tools, but just no way to deploy it. Like, a Soul Land makes his hand so insane, though. Like, with a Soul Land, I just, like, get to cast everything. I'm like 55% to keep. I wouldn't fault people for mulling. Ship it back, go for the gold. How many mana sources do I have? 24 plus Spirit Guides. I got a lot of mana sources to make this hand nuts. Alright. Yep. Keep. I think this one is very close. When I wrote, I don't remember if this was in my original article, but one of the things I wrote when I first started talking about Red Prison was that like people weren't mulliganing enough with this deck, and then that's something I very, very, very much believe. Alright, what do I want to do in the face of that Deathrite Shaman? I kind of want to shut off their fetches before any lands are in the graveyard. Also shut off their Wasteland if this resolves. See? Never didn't have it. Ooh, it just resolved. Neat. Easiest Blood Sun into Force of Will of our lives. What? Yeah, I know. I'm really surprised that actually worked, too. I expect Lewis to just, like, concede after this brainstorm. That's the sort of thing he does. Yeah, no. No attack with Deathrite Shaman there. There's no lands in graveyard. That's a little confusing. Yeah, so like Moon shuts off their mana sources, but just Confluence as the 2-for-1 here is super strong. And I kind of want to cast 4-drops since this Ancient Tomb is immune to Wasteland. My opponent can have Daze or Force, but like I get to fire Confluence this turn, try to fire Confluence again next turn if that doesn't work, and then Moon him and bridge him. Windmill Slam the Moon to shut off Daze. Yeah, but then I can't cast my 4-drops. I want to do 2 damage to each creature, 2 damage to each opponent. Force pitching Brainstorm. That's fine. Yeah, he didn't scoop yet. It's weird. Cabal Therapy. Alright. Opponent shuffles. So Nicholas, to give you an idea of what Lewis CBR does, if he goes 0-1 in a league, he drops that league. Alright, opponent got the Chandra. So opponent doing the old sack the Deathrite Shaman, get rid of one of these unbeatable cards. Probably Blood Moon. I wonder if he drops 0-1 at GPs. No value. So Nicholas, if you're interested in why he does that, there's a whole big post about it on Reddit from a couple of weeks ago. Alright, opponent names Fiery Confluence. I think I'll just abrade the Delver here. Oh, neat, that just worked. In addition to that, Nicholas, there was also a sort of set of like mathematical explanations for why it made sense for him. Land's actually a great draw. So I kind of just want to like slam the moon this turn, take 3, and then Fiery Confluence next turn. Yeah, Bosk, I'm very happy with my draw there. Very happy with this one as well. Alright, 1 damage to each creature, 2 damage to each opponent. Cast. Alright, opponent having force there is annoying, but we still have the bridge, so we'll take 4 this turn, and then hopefully draw a land. Yeah. Opponent will now need an Ancient Grudge to answer Ensnaring Bridge. Chat, do I just put Chalice of the Void on 2 to stop Ancient Grudge? Or do I just put it on 1 to stop Lightning Bolt? Because 2 Lightning Bolts is lethal, or Grudge is lethal. I guess if 2... I think I just Chalice on 2. Stop Grudge. Then they have to get double Bolt to kill me. That seems really good. Alright, what's chat say? Chat says yes. Chalice on 2. 2, baby, let's go. Ooh, yeah. Ensnaring Bridge. No, I will not cast that, because I can't. Oh look, mono unbeatable cards. Yes. Oh no, I can't cast this for X equals 1, because then its converted mana cost is 2. That's super unfortunate. And I can't cast it for 4 and also play Blood Moon. Cast Blood Sun first because it cantrips, and I want to make sure if I draw a card, I can get it out of my hand. Wow, that's super awkward. That's super, super, super awkward. Oh, jeez. I'll die to a bolt. That is indeed confirmed bad, yes. It also can't be countered, so it's just happening. Okay, so I could not cast this card, minus the Chandra. Kill an elemental? That seems terrible. Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, I die to a bolt if I hold it or cast it, so I cast it. So I can just ultimate Chandra right now, get the emblem, cast this, put them to 5, put them to 3, and then hope to just top deck a spell and kill them. But like if they have the bolt, I'm just dead. Uh-oh. Well, he doesn't have the bolt. That's great. This is good quality entertainment right here. He's just representing the fact that he knows that bolt kills me. Just trolling me. Alright, we found parents. Alright, so chat brought up something interesting there. It's very possible the correct line was Ultimate Chandra play Blood Sun, hope to hit 4-drop, or hope to hit one of these cards. The issue is that if I ultimate draw a 4-drop, my opponent will probably just kill me, right? Because I don't go and get to like have my bridge up and active. It's a little risky. That doesn't mean it's bad, but it's just risky. So like, I think we had one Chandra in play already. So like we would have had 9 hits that would have killed us. We had something like 5 or 6 lands in play, and a couple of these. Like there were more good draws than bad, but like it's still scary. There were only 6 3-drops left in the deck. The odds were with you. Yeah, Fallout was a bad draw. I didn't think about like Volcanic Fallout when I made that, like the plays that I was making. If I kept that in mind, I could have kept my life total a little bit higher earlier. 7 4-drops, not 3-drops. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say that didn't sound right because I had a ton of things left. Drawing a 4-drop and passing would have allowed 3 elementals to get under the bridge, which would put you at 3 again. It would be the same outcome, right? Okay, maybe. Yeah, the Pyromancer can't attack. Alright, we're playing against JPA 93. Usually plays Sneak and Show. Man, we're just playing against, like, all the good people tonight. JPA 93 is one of the big trophy leaders as well. So this is Land, Pass, turn to City, Spirit Guide, Chandra. This is not what I want against this deck, but it's a very good opener. What if my opponent is randomly playing Grixis Delver tonight instead of that? Do I like this hand then? I don't like this hand against Delver because, like, I'm just, like, stone cold super dead to a Daze. Because Daze essentially gets 2 of my cards, and then I just can't cast the 4-drops because I have double City. He was on Delver earlier. I don't know that I can keep this. Like, I'm on the draw. It's rough against a Daze. It's rough against a Force. I dislike it. We Stone Cold Dead to Permission. Yeah, like, I think a more reasonable hand that can just, like, produce a Chalice or a Blood Moon quickly is probably better than this, but, like, Chandra's really, really, really good. Oh, Greater Steven, thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate your support. Praise be to Thalia. I'm gonna ship this one, but I think it's very close. I'm gonna ship this one. It doesn't do anything. Keep. Hope to top a red card so I can turn 1 Chalice. That does not count. Opponent is on Sneak and Show. Goodbye, friend. I'll miss you. Oh, we did it. Please, sir, please cast a Show and Tell and put in an Emrakul, and I'll put in Ensnaring Bridge. Then I win. Never didn't have it, chat. Never didn't have it. Oh, man. This deck is great. Absolute pros. Sign me up for 1 Legacy Pro Tour, please. Alright. Spyglass comes in to shut off either Grizzlebrand or Sneak Attack. Scab Clan Berserker comes in as a very, very swift clock. Let's see what we can board out. Probably just some of the slower cards, honestly. Like, we can cut some of this stuff. Some of this stuff is not the best against that deck. Like, they're a Blood Moon deck, too. Like, the whole reason we want a Blood Moon is actually for our own lands, not for their lands. So, I'll probably get rid of AP and K, just because, like, this isn't the best matchup for it. Like, this is a much better threat. Like, I'll probably get rid of, like, AP and K, and some number of Blood Moons and Blood Suns. Probably all the Blood Moons. Blood Sun still cantrips and still keeps our cities from sacrificing themselves. Blood Moons don't want to lead the deck. Wait, no, Blood Sun, come back. Man, we have a lot of poor cards. No, most of our cards are pretty good. Like, I know Fiery Confluence isn't going to kill creatures here, but it's still like 6 to the dome, which after a Rabble Master or a Berserker closes the game very, very quickly. Like, the Blood Moon portion of the deck isn't good against them. Ooh, I need to cut one more. Oh, I did bring in 6. Got 1 Confluence. Blood Sun still shuts off cantrips, so that's still fine. Or not cantrips, sorry. It shuts off fetch lands, so they can't cantrip after fetching. Other way around, you know what I mean. Turn 1 Trinisphere, turn 2 backup Trinisphere, turn 3 Chandra. Assuming another red source. Keep. Ooh, opponent just shuffled. That's a good sign for me. Turn 1 Trinisphere seems decent. I agree. Ooh, they pitched an Omniscience. That's a very good pitch. Like, that's one of the best cards against me. Like, the way they can beat an Ensnaring Bridge is just by going, like... Or not, sorry, not an Ensnaring Bridge. Like, a piece of random hate, like Trinisphere, is just by going and, like, using Omniscience and Emrakul. Turn 2 Trinisphere is considerably worse, but still fine. Oh. Oh. Hmm. You know what else is resolving? This Planeswalker. I will not cast Romox. Alright. Well, feels kind of like we've got this one locked up. I'm gonna go ahead and, I think, play a City in plus. No, I'll play Tomb in plus. I mean, yeah. Dealing a lot of damage to myself, but that shouldn't matter. Like, they deal damage to me in chunks of 7 or 15. Show and tell, you say? Alright, I have a lot of ways to play this turn. I think I'm going to start with 0 on this Chandra. That's an Ensnaring Bridge. That's very, very, very good. And it's also resolving. I hardly call that digging. And now our other city doesn't go away. Okay, X is currently 1. X is currently due. No. What am I doing wrong? Cast. Alright. Okay, so I do that. X is currently 1. Hit done, then pay tax. I see. Yes, Welshman. I intended on playing Chalice on 3 on my next turn. So just to like map out my next turn for anyone in chat who is curious, it was going to be ultimate this Chandra, probably 0 this Chandra, then cast Chalice for X equals 3 to stop wipe away. You think X is 2 to play around a Braid? Okay, that might be true. It was going to be a Chalice on something that dealt with outs to that. So my opponent was going to get to draw some cards with Griselbrand, and that gets them pretty deep. And they could find an answer to that, but they couldn't find an answer to that and kill me that turn. So if they found an answer to the bridge, they probably attack and kill Chandra. And then I still have another Chandra, plus a few other annoying cards to try to beat the Griselbrand and cobble that together. I think we're in very, very, very good shape. Yeah, I know, Static, right? Like, we took down two trophy leaders this time so far. Like, the deck is very good. It's very, very, very powerful. It's like, for people who enjoy Death and Taxes, you'll probably enjoy this deck a lot. The lines are more complicated than they initially look, and I hope that's something that is starting to become clear as we kind of just like chat and watch this. What am I volume at? A little higher than normal. There's a lot more thinking than a lot of people give this deck credit for. All right, my opponent plays Grixis Delver. We produce a turn 1 Chalice. That's a keep. Get him. Aww. Ruining my fun with your force of will. Me just trying to stop most of the spells in your deck with a 2-mana spell on turn 1. Don't worry about it, it's fine. Alright, they have a bolt. Alright. We are in no immediate danger. Like, we're taking 5 here. But we will probably play a crippling spell for my opponent on my turn. And then hopefully top deck a Fiery Confluence. I feel kind of like my opponent has counterspells. No. So I know they have the Lightning Bolt. So the Lightning Bolt goes at me. That puts me to 9. I'm going to take 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 damage. So I'm going to have like exactly 1 more turn probably to draw Fiery Confluence. So I can get a second draw by Blood Sunning, or I can play Trinisphere in order to try and play around like a Daze. But I think the second draw is probably more important. What have I been thinking of Bahra's Spicy Brew Adventure? I think there are some good ideas there, but it's still rough around the edges. Alright, I came up with the same line you did. Bridge is not fast enough here, unfortunately. I'm not going to be able to empty my hand. If I draw Chrome Mox, I can Chrome Mox, imprint a Blood Moon, play a land, play a bridge, have 2 left in hand, not get attacked by the Delver. Oh man, do they just have another bolt? Another bolt just means I die here, because I go to 9, then go to 6, and then that's just lethal on board. Alright. For giggles. Wasn't happening. Alright. Fallout in. Abrade in. Board 4 cards out. It was Ravels. Yeah, I have a couple of weird D&T-ish builds that I want to stream as well. I talked about them a little bit on Monday. Alright, what do I do with this hand? It's definitely a keep. Just like, how deep do I go? Like, do I just go like land... I don't love double Chrome Mox here. I can go like land, Chrome Mox Abrade, Chrome Mox Blood Moon, keep double Blood Sun to just have things that cantrip while also maybe shutting my opponent out of the game. Or I can go like try Blood Moon on turn 1, try Blood Sun on turn 2. I'm keeping this. I'm just figuring out which way I want to play this. Yeah, it's a second Mox. So I definitely go for a turn 1 play. I think you double Blood Sun on the Mox, land Blood Moon, keep the Abrade for a threat. No, I think I'm pitching the Abrade here. I'm going to pitch one of the Blood Suns. For sure. Phil, you are legendary. I try. I'm going to go turn 1 Blood Moon, turn 2 Blood Sun. Alright. You have a force. Shoot. That's fine. We'll Blood Sun next turn. That's still pretty good. Opponent has 4 cards left. We also effectively have 4 cards, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're fighting on the same resources. And now opponent really needs a Force or a Daze to like answer this Blood Sun as well. Great, now we even have a win condition. Playing that Underground Sea prior to the Brainstorm resolving seems loose. I guess it doesn't because Blood Sun. But, like, they could have drawn a Volcanic and played that if they needed to. Alright, my opponent scoops it up. I can deal with enchantments in my Grixis deck. Wait. Wait. Oh man, one of my students is in chat. Yeah, sorry, I am not teaching at Hidden Valley High this year. And I've never taught there, so it's unlikely that I'm going to end up transferring there next year either. So, as they say, womp womp. You know, so it goes. So this doesn't have any red mana. That's really, 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 really bad. But it has a turn 1 Chalice, and turn 1 Chalice is like the best thing this deck can do. Oh. It can get dazed or forced. If it gets dazed or forced, it's like the rest of my hand is bad, but I have so many mana sources. With 1 mana source, I abrade. Alright. You lean towards Mulvis. It's very close though, right? Alright. Okay, this hand's just better. So this is turn 1 Blood Sun. Then I'll get to keep my city forever. Turn 2 Chalice. Do I want this bridge? So I go turn 1, this Blood Sun with backup for days. Turn 2 Chalice. I have removal already. I kind of just want more lands for the confluence. I'm bottoming this bridge. What does chat say? Bottom the bridge, I agree. How would I get into Magic the Gathering? So Star City Games in town is over on Williamson Road. They have a lot of like casual Magic events. One of the most common ones is Friday Night Magic. That's the I think a really good entry point for the format if you want to start like being competitive. Otherwise, just like go to Walmart or Target or Star City and like pick up a pair of like introductory decks and get one of your buddies and play with them. Like that's how most people start. We kind of call it like kitchen table magic, where you just get a pair of decks, you get a friend who wants to learn to play, you each buy one, and you just have a blast, and you kind of learn the mechanics of the game. What I'm playing is a format called Legacy. It has a lot of like very old and very powerful, also very expensive cards. So it kind of makes for more complicated and interesting gameplay. What I'm doing is probably more complicated than what you would be doing when you first start. All right. So my opponent had to pitch a Delver in order to do that, so they might not have a nice follow-up threat for me. See if they have like a Young Pyromancer here. Oh, they give you a free starter deck at the open house? Alright. There goes my Chalice of the Void. Yep. Well, I'm glad that you enjoy watching me play. Like, I haven't been streaming for very long now. It's just been a few months. I guess somewhere between like 3 and 4. But it's been a very fulfilling process. I've had like my own Magic website for a couple of years now. Well, we're going for that. Show me Force or Days. No, can't cast that. Hey, evening, JD. I'm glad you finally get to chat for a change. I know a lot of the mobile users have some trouble getting some of the features to work, and it's not the like super best experience in the world. But like, thanks for taking the time to be here. Choo choo to Value Town. Value Town confirmed. I kind of want to keep the ability to just like go and cast this Confluence because Chandra Plus paired with Spirit Guide lets me cast a Confluence. So I think I'm just going to like plus and intend not to cast this card unless it's like Chalice of the Void. I think you jam the monkey. I don't know, like, I kind of just want to like Fiery Confluence their face on the next turn. Like, or maybe like plus Chandra one more time, then Fiery Confluence their face when it's lethal. Because I don't want to just, like, get the Spirit Guide blocked by, like, a Young Pyromancer token or something like that. That'd just feel terrible. Okay, basic lanes, yeah, I guess you're right. Gurmag Dangler. Alright. Do you want to sack it to Cabal Therapy? Oh, you don't want to sack it to Cabal Therapy. Rats. Do I want to play this Spirit Guide around a Daze? I sort of do, just to ultimate my Chandra. I might be greedy. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Then I don't have to tap these Ancient Tombs. Yeah, not playing the Spirit Guide as a blocker 2 turns ago, definitely costing me here. So now I'll be looking for a bridge. Or an Abrade, or not Volcanic Fallout. Okay, this isn't actually that bad, right? I can just, like, essentially race them. I can plus the Chandra for mana, dome them with Confluence, put them to 6. Or excuse me, put them to 3. They take a turn off to kill Chandra. I Chandra plus again with the next Chandra. puts them to 1. They're dead if they fetch. I can also just, like, plus put them to 7. Sending 6 upstairs. You like plussing for damage? We can cast the Confluence with any red land. It's close. Like, the Confluence still isn't lethal, but, like, I have a ton of burn in my hand. Okay, I guess I can agree with that. I can also hit, like, just a Spirit Guide to cast as a chump blocker. Snow-covered mountain. Unfortunate, I really wanted to draw that. Hey, I drew that. So I'm just thinking about the order of these. If one of these gets countered, I want it to be the Chandra. But maybe they wouldn't even counter that, right? Because, like, they just let it resolve. I plus, they kill it. Yeah, they wouldn't counter that. So I should probably send the Confluence at them, and then I get better value out of my Chandra. Days, rats. Okay, yeah, that's something I didn't think about. If I had played the Chandra and my opponent forced it, then they died a Confluence. Alright, so this Chandra eats it here, and then I can kill my opponent with a top-decked Fiery Confluence. Parents is good. Parents is lethal next turn. Because I attack for 2 in the air, and then fling double Thopter at them. Oh, am I just getting, like, Edict or something here? Alright, we'll see what my opponent does with their attacks. Do I have anything that does exactly 3 damage? I don't. So Confluence is still lethal. Fallout does 2. So I just go ahead and shump block here. Kind of hoping for a bridge. Really hoping for a bridge. Bridge maybe not even good enough now, though, with, like, Deathrat Shaman sitting there. I think this is also a very clear point to attack in with Young Pyromancer. Like, I'm very obligated to block this Gurmag Angler. Okay. So my opponent has 5, 6, 7, 8 damage on board, so I kind of have to go for broke with this Chandra here. I don't know what that means, though. Like, what am I hoping to hit? I go Chandra plus, and I can't cast anything because of the Trinisphere, so I'm just dead now. So my opponent drains me to 6. If I kill the Young Pyromancer, there's still 5, 6 on board. Alright, I'm dead. Alright, so maybe I win that game there if I play out the Simian Spirit Guide, like, 8 turns back or whatever that was. I think that one was probably winnable. I think I probably messed that one up. Yeah, I really do think it came down to not playing Simian Spirit Guide. Because my opponent was at a very, very, very low life total. And I kind of, like, time-walked myself. And if I didn't time-walk myself, then, like, maybe I get to jam one of those spells earlier. Maybe I play one of those spells before they have the days. We lost the turn. We cast the Confluence into the days. Patience. Like, we did not have another land, Welshman. We do not know that the top card of our deck is a land. I think that was a fine play. I think pushing the damage and getting super aggressive with that Confluence was a very defendable play. I don't feel bad about that at all. Oh, hey, it's one of the guys from chat. Alright, so I just messaged my opponent. They just closed the stream. So what do I get to do? I'm on the draw. I'm going to keep this. What we do will depend a lot on what my opponent does. I kind of just want to, like, rabble them on turn 1. But I might not be able to if they, like, Trinisphere turn 1. Ooh, Chalice on 0. Great play. Ah, they're going to get to rabble me first. Alright, so, like, Chalice on 0 or 1 isn't going to do anything here. So, like, I just have to play Mountain and pass and hope to draw another Mana Source to get my own Rabble Master in play. That's super unfortunate. Like, the good news is that I have Fiery Confluence to answer their Goblin Rabble Master. Which almost makes me not want to play my own Rabble Master. But I probably need to. And then hope to draw a soul land for Confluence, or just 2 lands over the course of the rest of the game. Chalice on 0, doing a lot of work here. Although, generically, it's not the best card in this matchup. Ooh, opponent offering me their Rabble Master for my Rabble Master. I'll accept to keep my life total high. And then I can trade my Goblin with one of their Goblins, just leaving them with 2. This also may induce them to play another creature, and then if I hit a soul land... Ooh, a bridge. Not a good draw. So I'll Fiery Confluence, and then figure out what I want to do from there. I can Fiery Confluence, blow up their Chrome Mox and Chalice, or their Chrome Mox and their Bridge. I'm okay with the Bridge being in play right now. So I almost don't want to blow this up. But, like, it's a card that they can control and I can't control, so I might want to just get rid of it. If I get rid of their Chalice, then I can cast my own Chalice on 0, or cast, like, my Chrome Mox. Like, I definitely want to deal 1, blow up Chrome Mox. I don't know what I want to do with the 3rd mode. Bridge isn't awesome. Like, I can probably leave the Bridge. Honestly, maybe I should just deal 2 to them. Yeah, each one of those. Yeah, I like that. Their Bridge is more likely to protect me than not at this stage. Man, my hand's bad. I can nug them for 6. That's all I've got going on right now. I guess I can, like, cast both of these, get these countered, play a Trinisphere. It's not the worst thing in the world, emptying my own hand for my own Ensnaring Bridge. I'm going to do that. I don't think my mana matters at this point. Yeah, we don't have Hazoret in our deck. It's essentially a race to a Planeswalker at this point. That's the big draw for either one of us. If my opponent draws a Planeswalker first, I have to point my Fiery Confluence at their Planeswalker, which will be very unfortunate, because then I have stone cold nothing. Opponent's having to make the same plays now. Do I want to cast this Blood Moon? This Blood Moon actually probably helps them. I guess it gives them less mana, but it means they don't have to take damage or sacrifice a land. So I almost want to play another Trinisphere over the Blood Moon. I'm not worried about them double spelling at this point. Oh, right, I do have the Blood Sun already. So they lose all abilities except mana abilities, so they wouldn't have sacked it. They would have taken the damage, though. So this is kind of what the mirror is like. You're just, like, game one of the mirror is awful because, like, you both have so many bricks in your deck. Like, Trinisphere, Blood Moon, Blood Sun are all very, very, very weak. And those are your cards that, like, win the game against other decks, but not this one. No, I don't think I threw the Confluence yet, right? Because this game's kind of far from over. I'd much rather keep it in case my opponent draws a Planeswalker that I have to answer. Because I think that scenario is more likely than me hitting another Confluence in my next draw step or two. I feel like I should have, like, some super campy music playing right now. Mana Monkey. I'm not gonna Fiery Confluence a Mana Monkey. I'll take a couple of hits from that before I deal with it. Awkwardly, I will die to an opposing Fiery Confluence if this Mana Monkey hits me once, but I'm fine with that. Alright, there was a bridge over there. Neat. I knew there was a reason why I didn't care about that I had just forgotten. Because, like, mentally I had just said, like, Rabble Master doesn't matter. Like, I'll take one here, and then from here on out, I'll just, like, get rid of the cards in my hand so this doesn't happen. That's unfortunate. I want to draw another land to just, like, get this out, like, all of my cards out of my hand. There's my land. So now I can leave all of their stuff and just nug them with this. 6 damage to each opponent. And now I don't actually need to answer their creatures because they do nothing versus Ensnaring Bridge. Uh-oh. That's super unfortunate for me. I'm dead in 2 turns to their Planeswalkers. I have 2 turns to draw Fiery Confluence. Guess I'll cast this. I have 1 turn to draw Fiery Confluence. That's no moon. Okay. How big can I make this chalice? I think I can make it a big. 3? We'll put it on 3. Then we'll let my opponent kill us. I will give them the satisfaction. Alright, we were not drawing a threat for a very long time. Alright, so... This is really awkward because, like, even in the post-sideboard games, I guess I still have, like, a lot of really bad cards. Like, I guess I can Spyglass a Planeswalker if I don't have one. I guess I can Berserker just to have more threats. Abrade's fine. Volcanic Fallout's, I guess, good if they have a Rabblemaster and you don't. Sulfur Elemental is in consideration just as a threat. Like, let's kind of think about what we're boarding out. Like, Trinisphere isn't great. Blood Moon is actively bad. Chalice of the Void, like, can stop some 0-drops, but, like, that's just Chrome Mox. That doesn't matter that much over the course of a game. Blood Suns are fine because they just cantrip still. Maybe Sulfur Elemental is just too deep as another random threat. So this ends up giving us Rabble-Masters and Berserkers as threats. Berserkers having haste to, like, help deal with Chandra is nice, but like, having Rabble-Masters and Berserkers in the deck at the same time as Volcanic Fallout is, like, actively bad. You even brought in Sulfur Elemental. I'm thinking about it. Like, it's possible I, like, go back a bridge or 2 and play Sulfur Elemental. Just because, like, if my opponent's playing bridges too, maybe that's just good enough. Geez, this mirror is super awkward. I think when I'm on the play, I can probably cut some bridges. And we can just, like, play the bad creature game versus each other. Is it illegal for you to play Sulfur Elemental? Shh! Don't tell the chat I'm doing this. This is the most mediocre hand I've ever seen. I can go turn 2 Spyglass, Chandra Pyromancer, play a bridge and try to set up for my Chandra Pyromaster to win the game. And if I brick on a draw, I just start trying to get there with the Berserker. This might be good enough to keep, even though it is not impressive looking. With a Soul Land where I can do, like, this a turn early, this would become very good. Reluctant keep. I think this hand is bad, but I don't think it's particularly worse than other things I could be doing. Like a Rabble Master hand would be better, but since so much of my disruption is bad, just keeping a hand with 7 cards is probably fine rather than mulliganing. Just like, yeah, see, like my opponent mulliganed to 5 here. And if they kept like a Chandra-based hand, I'm just going to get them. I basically want a turn 1 threat hand, but I guess, yeah, like, this is not one of the better hands the deck can produce. Not, oh, that's actually a really good draw. Alright, so they've got Chrome Mox, City, Bridge, Mountain, Simian, Spirit Guide. We're going to shut off the good Chandra. Yeah, opponent has an awful hand. They mulled to 5. They have an excuse for having an awful hand. They actually might go... Oh, never mind. Yeah, so they'll go Chrome Mox, Imprint, Simian Spirit Guide, Mountain, Bridge. That leaves them with 2 in hand, which is a very convenient number for me, because Scab Clan Berserker can still get in there. Keeping that in mind, I should probably go ahead and just like play a Scab Clan Berserker this turn and get in for my 3 points of damage and make one of these renowned while I still can, and play my Pyromaster the following turn once they've shut it off via their bridge. There is also now some desire to imprint the other Scab Clan Berserker on the Chrome Mox now that it's going to do less, but I don't think I want to do that yet. I don't think my opponent is still going to have Trinisphere in their deck. Now, my second Scab Clan Berserker can get in this turn. This one can't attack anymore, though. Alright, opponent now gonna take a fair amount of damage if they want to do things. Their own Scab... Oh, nope. That's just triggers. A useless Chandra that dealt 4 to me. Nice. So now I guess I'll Chrome Mox, Imprint, Blood Sun, play Chandra, plus... do I want to redirect? No, that's fine. I'll leave that there. Yeah, this mirror is really quite funny. Man, these Scab Clan Berserkers are gas. If my opponent, like, casts a Fiery Confluence... Alright, what are the modes here? Two damage to each opponent, 2 damage to each opponent, destroy target artifact, targeting this. Oh man, so I can redirect both of these triggers towards the Chandra and negate the fact that they're targeting this. That's awesome. Or I can just dome them. So if they take 4, they go to 7, I Fiery Confluence them, and then any other spell they cast is lethal. Maybe I just let them have the Chandra. No, then I just like Chandra plus. Yeah, so I can let them have their Chandra. Good luck, opponent. No. No. Still no. Yeah, so on the previous turn, my opponent can plus, and if they plus, they kill my Chandra. Yeah, so they can't actually cast this Abrade to deal with one of my threats. My opponent says, no burns, come on. Bad news for you, opponent. I'm going to cast the Confluence here, just so they don't see the Fallout. No, we're just burning them to the face. The Fiery Confluence there is lethal in so many different ways. So I just want to point everything at their face there so that I don't lose to, I don't know, some random thing. I guess they can't even cast anything because of the, what's this thing called? Scab Clan Berserkers. It's kind of irrelevant. There's some desire to board bridges back in now that I'm on the draw. But I think I'm just going to run this back. Yeah. No wrong way to eat the pizza. I agree. So this hand goes... Man, I don't want to mold a 5 again. This hand goes turn 1 Sorcerer Spyglass. Turn 2 Chandra. That's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and keep that. I'm not going to judge a person for what they put on their pizza. Ketchup is like basically spaghetti sauce. You're real close. You're basically at pasta sauce. Yeah, the spyglass is awkward Because, like, the thing we're most likely to name is also in our hand. So if my opponent just does, like, Mountain Pass, I might just go Mountain Pass as well. I think I'm just gonna go Mountain Pass rather than, like, ramming out the Spyglass. Rabbles, you say? That's fine. I have this Volcanic Fallout. I'll take 6 here if I don't Volcanic Fallout this turn. In order to Volcanic Fallout, I have to get rid of my Chandra, which is super awkward. So I think I just take a couple more damage. I think I will play my Spyglass this turn, though. See if they have, like, the other Chandra. Ahem. Alright. So they've got Confluence ×2, Spyglass for our Chandra, and Sulfur Elemental. Well, I don't get to name anything here that matters. I guess I'll name Simian Spirit Guide. Or can this stop mana abilities? Unless they're mana abilities. I want them to use their Spyglass to get rid of this. I'm gonna name Hazaret, because that's not in my deck. I am not in good shape now. Super dead to my opponent drawing, like, Soul Land to just, like, dome me twice with Confluence. Oh, hey Mark, welcome. Your streams this week have been very amusing. I've been enjoying the exploration you've been doing. I don't think we're quite at Abandon Hope range yet, but we're close. I don't need another mana this turn, so I don't need to play Chrome Mox yet. In case I draw my own Fiery Confluence and get rid of their Spyglass in the process, I probably should not just, like, play this for no reason. This is an instant, I can play it on their turn. Maybe they'll play another Rabble Master into it. Eh? Eh? Okay, Rabbles is a good-ish draw, right? So they have a Sulfur Elemental they can flash in to block the Goblin token. But, like, that's still fine. That might be enough to put their Sulfur Elemental on the defensive. So Sulfur Elemental on the Goblin was just a free block there. Do I erase this? So I'll make another Goblin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I hit for 6 this turn. And then 8 the following turn. So I do currently race this, but my opponent has some fiery confluences. I guess I take the hit because I'm just, like, terrified of dying to the fiery confluences. And I just, like, need to try to get the ability to race. Like, if I get an attack, if I get, like, 2 attacks in with my Goblin Rabble Master in team and then draw a confluence, I win. I do not accept. Magus of the Moon. Unfortunate. Alright, so now if I attack him with everything, my opponent blocks a Goblin. They'll take 4, 5 damage, and I'll take a lot more damage. So I guess a Rabble Master now hangs back on the defensive. I just know my opponent's hand is double Confluence, so I don't need to play anything else. So I think I make a bluff play this turn. I think I bluff that I have Confluence by playing out a Chandra, even though it's a card that does nothing. I'm going to act like I'm bottlenecked on mana. And that, like, I'm going to, like, Confluence next turn, destroy your Spyglass, deal 2 to each creature, and this might make my opponent go and attack this thing. Alright, we're dead. Actual factual dead, too. Right now. So we just take 6 to the face, then both of those creatures go and attack in, and I die. So Sorceress Spyglass can't shut off mana abilities. Yeah. My opponent was in the chat before, so I'm going to give them a second to get back in there. And then say a few things before I start the last round here. That's a really awkward mirror. Like, I know a lot of mirrors are, especially in Legacy, where some of the decks are, like, so far off in one direction. But the Blood Moon deck is not built to beat other Blood Moon decks, and you don't even, like, try to have cards for the mirror. Like, to just flash this deck list again, like, the list of cards that aren't good in the mirror is almost the entire main deck, right? Like, Blood Moon, Blood Sun, Trinisphere, Chalice, and to some extent Bridge are bad in the mirror. So, it's rough. So in the mirror, like, your cards that matter are your Planeswalkers, your Confluences, and your Rabble Masters. Almost all of the rest of the cards are irrelevant. Like, and even the cards you're bringing in out of the sideboard are only kind of, like, so-so. Alright, back in we go. Let's try to get paired against, not Red Prison. Let's not play the mirror in the last round. Hey! So I was just talking about, like, how awkward that mirror match was, and all of our cards did basically nothing. That was rough. Like, in game 1, we just had, like, Blood Moons and Blood Suns and Bridges and Chalices and Trinisphere, and, like, everything did absolutely nothing. Yeah, so, like, luck definitely plays a big role in this mirror. I think I punted a game. I had an opportunity to play a Simian Spirit Guide out, but didn't. Or wait, no, that was versus Grixis Delver. Never mind. Sorry, just kind of getting mixed up. There were a couple of interesting decision points that you can you can listen to later, but like generally speaking, we had a race. Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying now. We had a race for like one of 8 cards. You know, like Fiery Confluence was a huge draw for a lot of those games. Same with Chandra. Like, especially in that game 1 where we were both just like staring at each other. I like to play first. Yes. We're playing against the Zookeeper. Looks like they've played a bunch of decks. Looks like they've played Miracles. Looks like they've played Grixis Delver, Esper Deathblade, Blue-Red Stoneblade. What does my hand do? My hand goes Mountain, pass, turn 2, go for Chandra. Keep. So Nicholas, my thought was that if I'm going to go and potentially race at all, I needed to keep my Rabble Master there. That was my rationale. I'm dead to you drawing land, like, no matter what anyway, right? Like, because you have double Confluence in hand, I just literally cannot beat you drawing a land. So I think I have to draw. Opponent goes Ponder, not Shuffle. I'm going to play my Ancient Tomb here, that way I can keep an extra land around. I also might just Rabble Master this turn instead of Chandra. That way I can keep the double red around for a later turn. And just, like, start clocking my opponent with Rabble Master. That way if my opponent has, like, a force, this might be good enough to eat a force. Who's Tyler J? Probably Tyler James Gardner. One of my personal friends. He is a legacy streamer as well, with some amount of interest in Vintage. He recently got picked up by Card Hoarder as well. No, I did not watch any of the footage. I've only seen the random clips that people are putting on Reddit. Badlands seems to indicate that it's pile. Yeah. Kind of want to play this one with some patience and go City of Traders Chalice this turn to prevent any potential cantripping, and then Chandra next turn. But if I go Chandra resolves, I get to plus Chandra and Chalice, and that seems absolutely irresistible. Or no, I can actually just go like... Okay. We're going to start with the Chalice. We'll use the Chalice as the bait, because I can still use the Spirit Guide to cast the Chandra. Alright, yeah. Sorry, I'm rusty at playing this. That took longer than it should have. Yeah, I assume that that whole scenario was very, 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 very carefully scripted by a team of very, very, very well paid lawyers. I didn't see any of it, but I imagine that would be the case. Kinda wanna use this to play P and K, but value is value. I'm not gonna cast that one. Did I make any misplays? Nicholas, I think you played pretty well. There's nothing that stands out to me after the fact that was particularly bad. There might have been some micro things, but nothing stands out too much. All right, so I kind of feel like we're good against Pile to start with. Spyglass is probably good for Planeswalkers, and to a lesser extent, Deathrite Shaman. I will consider Scab Clan Berserker. It's just generically good against a lot of like cantrip-based decks. They have a lot of removal. I don't know how much they're going to board out. So boarding this in might be just like turning on more removal than not. But these are the cards that I would consider. Let's figure out what's bad. Honestly, most of my cards are pretty good, and I might not do much sideboarding at all. Like, Rabblemaster is insane when they don't have answers to it. This Mana Denial package is really good. The Trinispheres are good. I guess Bridge is kind of weak. Could see boarding out Bridges. They just have a bunch of, like, idiot creatures. You cut Chalice and Bridge. Yeah, I agree on cutting Bridge. I don't know if I agree on cutting Chalice. Like, I know they have, like, Call Against Command to get rid of it, and I know they have a ton of, like, non-1 spells, but it's very, very powerful, and it's one of our few, like, very, very, very realistic every time turn 1 plays, because, like, either Soul Land or regular land in Mox gets there. You cut Chalice for the same reason you cut Prelate versus them. All right, I'll take your word. You know, you have the reps in. Like I understand that. I guess drawing multiples of the Chalice can be pretty lame. Okay, you could be wrong. I didn't play them very often. All right. Like, I definitely wouldn't want to cut Chalice, and I might board 2 back in on the play. But on the draw, I can definitely see trimming that. Yeah, we're playing against check pile. All right, so what do? We go turn 1 Chandra. Keep. There's some chance that I change my mind and do like a turn 1 Blood Moon, turn 2 Chandra. But my hand is nutso. Spicy Popcorn is the current name of Bahra's pile that he's been testing. And I say pile in the most affectionate way possible. I just don't know how else to describe it. It's special. I plugged him at the beginning of this stream for good reason. It's very entertaining and very interesting, the things he's been doing. All right, I have to figure out how I want to play this turn. So I can go City, Spirit Guide, just jam Blood Moon here. I can go City, Mox, Spirit Guide, jam Chandra, but then not have a follow-up play. I can go City, Mox a Blood Moon, Rabble Master, just start getting aggressive. I think I like turn 1 Moon, because I can go like City, Imprint, Moon, Moon, turn 2, Mountain, Exile, Spirit Guide, Chandra. Too late, I already Blood Mooned. Hydroblast. Okay. I won't say that Hydroblast was on my mind in any capacity with the decision tree that I made. Too late, already Blood Moon accurately boils down the essence of the deck quite well. That's not as annoying as it looks. The nice thing about this is the plus kills all of the small idiots in this deck. So the -7 theoretically hits a Fiery Confluence and kills. I kind of just want to, like, 0 and try to hit a land, though. Yeah. Alright, opponent knows how fetch lands and Blood Sun works. That's important for them. I have had many opponents not know. Well, I have seen many matches, especially on, like, video coverage, where people did not know that was how that worked, and then they died. I think I'm just gonna ride the value train here. Alright. I will choose the 6 damage to each opponent mode. Ah, yes, Force of Will. I've got all day. And I've got a Sorcerer's Spyglass for that little buddy. Oh, excuse me, sir, please. It's 2 damage to each opponent 3 times. Thank you. Which is actually quite relevant sometimes. So I'll just go ahead and keep the board clear here. So I'll choose you and target creature, kill those. Want to redirect to Jace? No. Alright, so they have Deathrite Shaman. Okay. I'm gonna name Senor Yace the Mind Sculptor. Of note, my opponent can, like, Snapcast or Culligan's command. Ooh, Leovold. Ooh, Deathrite Shaman. So now I just Chandra minus kill Leovold. Deathrite Shaman beats kills my Chandra. And then this Chandra is still good enough to just take over the game. Yeah, does indeed seem decent. I give them a card for the Leovold, but I think that's fine. Like, otherwise, like, anytime I plus this Chandra, it, like, the Leovold triggers, and that's abysmal. Chandra plus to ult next turn. Do I actually want to ult this Chandra? How many hits do I have? Is it just Confluence? It's just Confluence, right? So, like, if I miss on the Confluence, it's just feels bad. How many cards do I get? 7? Oh no, it's 10. Never mind. 10 is insane. That is a big number. Do I want to redirect to Jace? No. So I think my opponent just, like, has to attack Torch of Defiance here. And just, like, gamble that I ultimate and whiff, or alternatively do not ultimate. So I think if I want to win the game with this Chandra ultimate, I go ahead and... No, like, it just looks at the same number of cards either way. You're okay with ping and jab with Scab Clan here? Yeah, I don't hate that either. Like, Ping kills Baleful Strix. Scab Clan Berserker gets in there. If my opponent has a removal spell for it, like, so what? The Chandra ticks down 1, and I still have just, like, a lot of cards and a lot of value. I will cast this and see if this resolves first, though. Still don't want to redirect to Jace. Ah, Diabolic Edict. Okay, that's fine. Like, if my Chandra takes 1 here, that actually doesn't matter. It still can ultimate. Second Deathrite Shaman. Alright, let's spin the roulette wheels. Oh, we found one. We found 2, in fact. Alright. And we get there. Okay. So, let's talk about this league. I played against Grixis Delver, Sneak and Show, Grixis Delver, The Mirror, and Pile. We got one of the 2 against Grixis Delver, and then we lost The Mirror. The mirror is a coin flip in many ways, not like necessarily like play draw coin flip, but coin flip in that like you only have a certain number of cards that like actually matter in the matchup, and the rest of your deck is blanks, and you're just drawing to those cards. So like I don't feel bad about losing the mirror, and our loss against Grixis Delver was probably preventable if I thought about a certain line. So I think this deck's very, very, very good. This deck list felt fine. I did not regret playing any of the cards that I played. Blood Sun versus Magus of the Moon is a really interesting decision. Magus gives you like more immediate wins in many cases, but Blood Sun can be situationally better. And also cantrips, which is huge in this deck, which lacks any sort of selection at all. Like there's no tutors here, there's no cantrips here. You're more relying on like power and raw card advantage from like these 4 and 3 drops to get you there. 100% would play this this deck list again. I have a lot going on this week. I can't necessarily talk about it on stream for reasons, but I'll go into it later if I can. I'm going to wrap things up pretty early tonight. Once again, I want to thank Piroko for letting me borrow this this deck for tonight. He loaned me a bunch of the cards that were over my card holder borrowing limit. So thank you very much for that. I'll return these to you as soon as I go ahead and end the stream. But I want to see if I can find someone to host real quick before I wrap things up, and then I want to talk about a couple of things that I want to try and kind of preview what I want to do next week. Alright, I don't know that we have anyone else playing Legacy here. Oh no, we have one person. Alright, so I'll host them momentarily. Alright, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you. So to just like reintroduce myself now that I'm wrapping up, my name was Phil Gallagher. I run ThrabenU University. I stream every Monday and Wednesday night at about 7 o'clock p.m. It's mostly D&T, but as you can see over here, we play a decent amount of other things too. Okay, so I want to talk about one of the 2 builds that I'm considering. The other build I'm still working on. So build 1, I want to try a D&T deck that is focused around unkillable threats for like the Grixis and Pile matchups. So I want to try a D&T deck that runs Auriok Champion and Mirran Crusader, and then maybe some enchantments to buff them and make them more annoying. Maybe it's just like Honor of the Pure. And then I have another Hallowed Spirit Keeper deck list, very much inspired by some of Bafra's stuff that I want to try out, but I'm not done brewing that one yet, so I don't want to talk about it until I'm done. So I think next Monday I'm probably going to try out an Auriok Champion build, and then I think next Wednesday I'm going to try out the Hallowed Spirit Keeper build that I'm working on. I might change my mind. I might get a donation deck or something like that I want to try out. Someone was talking about getting me to play Slivers, which would be a lot of fun. Although I'd probably do that as a bonus stream like next weekend or something like that. So thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed my content and you haven't already, please consider following or subscribing to support me. Otherwise, I'm going to turn you over to a different Legacy streamer. Have a good night, folks.